A Japanese destroyer is charging straight at you, 30 knots. Bow wave crashing. Depth charges armed. You have 90 seconds to live. Standard doctrine says, dive deep, turn away, run. Commander Samuel Dealey does not run. He turns the submarine toward the destroyer. He waits. 900 yards, 800, 700. His executive officer is screaming at him to dive. Dealey waits. 600 yards. He fires 4 torpedoes straight down the throat of the oncoming warship. Then he dives, directly under the explosion. This is the man who sank 5 destroyers in 4 days. This is the submarine that made the entire Japanese Navy believe they were surrounded. This is the story of USS Harder and the most dangerous game of chicken in naval history. June 1944. The war in the Pacific has reached a turning point. American forces are preparing to invade the Mariana Islands, Saipan, Tinian, Guam. If the Marianas fall, American B-29 bombers will be able to reach Tokyo. The Japanese know this. They are preparing the largest naval operation since Midway, Operation A-Go. The entire Japanese mobile fleet, aircraft carriers, battleships, the super battleships Yamato and Musashi, is gathering at a secret anchorage in the Philippines. Tawi Tawi, a remote island cluster near Borneo, surrounded by shallow waters, protected by minefields, guarded by destroyers. American intelligence knows the fleet is there, but they do not know when it will move or where it will go. They need eyes on Tawi Tawi. They need a submarine crazy enough to go there. USS Harder is a Gato-class submarine, 312 feet long, 1,600 tons submerged, 10 torpedo tubes, 24 torpedoes, crew of 80 men. She has already completed 4 war patrols. She has already sunk 14 ships. She is one of the most successful submarines in the Pacific Fleet, and her captain is one of the most dangerous men in the United States Navy. Commander Samuel David Dealey, Naval Academy, class of 1930, 38 years old, Texan, quiet. The kind of man who speaks softly and carries a very large stick. His crew calls him Sam, sometimes the Dealey. The Japanese will come to call him something else, the Destroyer Killer. Dealey receives his orders on May 26, 1944. 5th War Patrol. Destination, Tawi Tawi. The briefing officer is blunt. Commander, the waters around Tawi Tawi are some of the most heavily defended in the Pacific. Shallow approaches, extensive minefields, destroyer patrols around the clock. He pauses. Frankly, we don't expect you to get close enough to see anything useful. If you can confirm the fleet is still there and get out alive, the mission will be considered a success. Dealey looks at the chart. Shallow water, narrow passages, no room to maneuver. A submarine's nightmare. When do we leave? He asks. Tomorrow. Dealey nods. We'll be there. USS Harder departs Fremantle, Australia, on May 28th. The transit to Tawi Tawi takes 9 days. 9 days of open ocean. 9 days of preparation. Dealey uses the time to drill his crew. Torpedo drills, damage control drills, emergency dive drills, over and over and over. The men grumble. They are already one of the best crews in the submarine force. Why the endless practice? Dealey tells them, "Where we're going, you won't have time to think. You'll only have time to react. When I give an order, I need it executed before I finish speaking. Your lives depend on it." He does not tell them everything. He does not tell them about the tactic he has been developing, the tactic he has never tried in combat, the tactic that every submarine commander in the Navy thinks is suicide. The standard doctrine for dealing with a destroyer attack is simple. When a destroyer spots you, dive deep. Get below 200 feet, where the depth charges are less effective. Turn away from the attack. Open the range. Go silent. Go slow. Pray. The destroyer has speed. It has sonar. It has depth charges. The submarine has only one advantage: the ability to disappear. So you disappear. You run. You hide. That is the standard doctrine. Dealey has a different idea. He calls it down the throat. When a destroyer charges, you do not turn away. You turn toward it. You aim your bow directly at the oncoming warship. You wait until the range closes to less than 1,000 yards, and then you fire your torpedoes straight at the destroyer's bow. The theory is simple. A destroyer charging at 30 knots covers 1,000 yards in about 60 seconds. A torpedo traveling at 46 knots covers 1,000 yards in about 40 seconds. If you fire at the right moment, the destroyer cannot turn away in time. It runs directly into your torpedoes. The geometry is perfect. The psychology is even better. Japanese destroyer captains are trained to attack submarines. They expect submarines to run. They expect fear. They do not expect a submarine to charge them. They do not expect a head-on joust. There's only one problem with the tactic. If you miss, you die. 1,000 yards is point-blank range. If your torpedoes miss, or malfunction, or run deep, the destroyer will be on top of you in seconds. You will have no time to dive, no time to evade. The depth charges will tear you apart. Dealey knows this. His crew knows this. They practice anyway. June 6, 1944. USS Harder enters the Sibutu Passage, the approach to Tawi Tawi. The water is shallow here, in some places less than 150 feet. Not enough depth to escape a sustained depth charge attack. If they are caught here, they will die here. Dealey keeps the submarine at periscope depth, watching, waiting. At 0930 hours, the sonar operator reports a contact. "Con, sonar, high-speed screws, bearing 045, closing fast." Dealey raises the periscope. He sees it immediately. A Japanese destroyer, Fubuki class, coming straight at them. The destroyer has spotted their periscope wake. It is attacking. The executive officer, Lieutenant Commander Frank Lynch, looks at Dealey. "Captain, recommend we dive deep and turn away." Standard doctrine. Dealey does not take his eye from the periscope. "Negative. Come to course 045. Lynch stares at him. "Sir, that's directly toward the destroyer." "I know." "Sir, I know what I'm doing, Frank. Come to course 045. All ahead full. Flood tubes 1 through 4. Lynch hesitates for only a moment. Then he gives the orders. The destroyer is Minazuki, 2,000 tons, 34 knots maximum speed, 8 depth charges in the stern racks, more in the forward launchers. Her captain, Commander Yamaguchi, has sunk 2 submarines in his career. He sees the American periscope. He orders flank speed. He will ram the submarine if necessary. He has done it before. Inside Harder, the crew can hear the destroyer's propellers through the hull. A high-pitched whine, growing louder, getting closer. The sound of death approaching. "Range, 1,500 yards," the fire control officer reports. "Closing fast." Dealey watches through the periscope. The destroyer is coming straight at them, bow on, a perfect target, but also a perfect killer. 1,400 yards. Dealey waits. 1,300. His finger rests on the firing plunger. 1,200. Lynch is gripping the chart table so hard his knuckles are white. 1,100 yards. Dealey fires. Fire 1, fire 2, fire 3, fire 4. 4 torpedoes leap from the forward tubes. "All ahead emergency. Dive. Take her to 150 feet. Hard left rudder." Harder plunges beneath the surface, turning hard, trying to get under the explosion. On the surface, Commander Yamaguchi sees the torpedo wakes, 4 white lines coming straight at his bow. He has perhaps 5 seconds to react. He orders hard right rudder. Too late. The first torpedo strikes Minazuki directly beneath the bridge. The explosion breaks the destroyer's back. The second torpedo hits amidships, detonating the forward magazine. The third and fourth torpedoes pass through the wreckage. Minazuki goes down in 5 minutes. There are no survivors. Inside Harder, the crew feels the explosions through the hull. 2 massive shocks, followed by the sound of a ship breaking apart. The terrible grinding noise of metal tearing, compartments flooding, men dying. And then, silence. Dealey raises the periscope. He sees oil, debris, bodies floating in the water, and no destroyer. "One down," he says quietly. June 7th, 1944. Harder moves deeper into the passage, closer to Tawi Tawi. At 1400 hours, sonar picks up another contact, another destroyer. Hayanami. She is patrolling the approaches to the anchorage. She does not know Minazuki is dead. She does not know Harder is hunting. This time, Dealey does not wait to be spotted. He attacks first. Harder approaches at periscope depth, using a small island for cover. Hayanami is steaming in a lazy patrol pattern, unsuspecting. Dealey closes to 1,800 yards. Fire 5, fire 6, 2 torpedoes. The first torpedo hits Hayanami amidships. The explosion is catastrophic. The destroyer's magazine detonates, sending a column of fire 200 feet into the air. Hayanami breaks in half. Both sections sink in less than 3 minutes. Dealey does not wait to watch. "Take her down, 150 feet, clear the area." He knows the explosion will bring more destroyers. He is counting on it. June 8th, 1944. The Japanese know something is wrong. 2 destroyers are missing. They do not know why. They do not know there is a submarine in the passage. They think, perhaps, the destroyers struck mines. They send another destroyer to investigate. Tanikaze. Tanikaze is a veteran ship. She fought at Midway. She survived the Guadalcanal campaign. Her captain, Commander Sato, is experienced and cautious. He does not steam blindly into the passage. He zigzags, he searches, he listens. But he is looking for a submarine that is running. He is not looking for a submarine that is hunting. Dealey spots Tanakaze at 0800 hours. The destroyer is 4,000 yards away, moving on an intercept course. "He spotted us," Lynch says. Dealey shakes his head. "Not yet. He's searching. He doesn't have a fix." "What do we do?" Dealey smiles. "We give him what he wants." Dealey raises the periscope, high enough to leave a visible wake. Tanakaze's lookouts see it immediately. The destroyer turns toward Harder. Flank speed. Attack mode. Commander Sato believes he has the advantage. He is faster. He is on the surface. He has the submarine pinned in shallow water. All he has to do is close the range and drop depth charges. The American captain will dive, will run, will try to escape. Sato will hunt him down. That is how it always works. Dealey watches the destroyer approach. Range, 3,000 yards. Speed, 32 knots. Bearing constant. He is coming straight at us. Good. 2,000 yards. Lynch is sweating. "Captain, shouldn't we?" "Not yet." 1,500 yards. The destroyer fills the periscope view. Dealey can see the crew on deck. He can see the depth charges in the stern racks. 1,200 yards. Fire 7, fire 8, fire 9. 3 torpedoes away. Dive, 150 feet. All ahead emergency. Commander Sato sees the torpedo winks. He reacts instantly. Hard left rudder. All stop. He is trying to turn parallel to the torpedo tracks. Present the smallest possible target. It almost works. The first torpedo passes ahead of Tanakaze's bow. The second torpedo passes astern. The third torpedo hits the propeller shafts. The explosion does not sink Tanakaze immediately, but it cripples her. The propellers are gone. The rudder is jammed. She is dead in the water. Dealey hears the explosion. He waits. No depth charges, no attack. He raises the periscope. Tanakaze is listing badly. Steam pouring from ruptured lines. Crew abandoning ship. She sinks 45 minutes later. 3 destroyers in 3 days. June 9th, 1944. The Japanese are now fully alarmed. 3 destroyers lost in the Sabutu Passage. Clearly, there is a submarine threat. Probably multiple submarines. Perhaps a wolfpack. They do not consider the possibility that it is a single ship. No single submarine could do this. No single captain would be this aggressive. Admiral Toyota, Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet, makes a decision. The waters around Tawi Tawi are too dangerous. The fleet must move. But first, he sends 2 more destroyers to sweep the passage. Find the submarines. Kill them. Harder's crew is exhausted. 3 attacks in 3 days. The boat stinks of sweat and diesel and fear. The men have barely slept. The torpedo room crew has been loading and reloading for 72 hours straight. They have 11 torpedoes left. At 0600 hours, sonar reports contacts. Sonar, multiple high-speed screws, bearing 070, 2 ships, possibly 3. Dealey raises the periscope. He sees 2 destroyers, steaming in formation, hunting. Lynch looks at the captain.
Sir, we have 11 torpedoes. They have 2 destroyers. Maybe we should... Should what? Dealey asks. Withdraw. Report what we've seen. We've already done more than anyone expected. Dealey lowers the periscope.
He looks at his executive officer. Frank, those destroyers are looking for us. If we run, they'll track us down in this shallow water. If we hide, they'll find us eventually. The only way out is through. He raises the periscope again. Besides, they're not expecting us to attack. They're expecting us to run. He pauses. Let's disappoint them. The first destroyer is Urakaze. The second is Hibiki. They are steaming in line astern, 500 yards apart. Dealey calculates. If he times it right, he can hit the first destroyer, then swing around and hit the second before it can react. If he times it wrong, he will be crushed between them. All ahead full. Come to course 070. Harder accelerates toward the destroyers. Range to lead destroyer, 2,000 yards. 1,500 yards. 1,200 yards. Fire 10. Fire 11. Fire 12. 3 torpedoes at Urakaze. Right full rudder. Come to course 170. Harder swings hard right, bringing the stern tubes to bear on the second destroyer. Range to trailing destroyer, 1,100 yards. Fire 13. Fire 14. 2 torpedoes at Hibiki. Dive, 200 feet. All ahead, emergency. The first torpedo hits Urakaze in the bow. The second hits amidships. The destroyer folds like a crushed beer can. Hibiki sees the explosions. Her captain orders hard right rudder. He sees the torpedo wakes coming toward him. He almost evades. Almost. The first torpedo misses ahead. The second torpedo hits the stern. The explosion destroys Hibiki's propulsion. She does not sink immediately, but she will never sail again. Dealey raises the periscope. 1 destroyer sinking, 1 destroyer crippled and burning. 5 destroyers, he says quietly. 4 days. June 10th, 1944. Admiral Toyota has had enough. 5 destroyers lost in 4 days. The Americans must have an entire wolfpack in the Cebutu Passage. Maybe 2 wolfpacks. The anchorage at Tawi Tawi is no longer safe. He orders the mobile fleet to move. Immediately. At 0800 hours, Dealey raises the periscope for a routine observation. What he sees makes him forget to breathe. Aircraft carriers, battleships, the super battleship Musashi, the entire Japanese mobile fleet steaming out of Tawi Tawi. Radio room, prepare an emergency transmission. Dealey dictates the message himself. Priority flash. Enemy fleet departing Tawi Tawi, heading north. Composition. Multiple carriers, battleships, heavy cruisers. This is the main body. Repeat, this is the main body. The message reaches Admiral Spruance within hours. The Japanese fleet is moving, heading for the Marianas. The decisive battle is coming. Spruance has time to prepare. On June 19th, the American and Japanese fleets meet near the Mariana Islands. The Battle of the Philippine Sea. American pilots call it the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. Japanese naval aviation is destroyed. 3 Japanese carriers sunk, over 600 aircraft lost. The battle ends Japan's ability to project air power at sea. None of it would have happened without Dealey's warning, without Harder's rampage through Tawi Tawi, without 5 destroyers on the bottom of the Sibutu Passage. The Japanese never understood what happened. They believed they had been attacked by a wolfpack. 6 submarines, maybe 8. They never considered that it was 1 ship, 1 captain, 1 crew of 80 men who refused to run. USS Harder returned to Fremantle on July 3, 1944. The crew was given 2 weeks of rest. Dealey was awarded his 4th Navy Cross. The submarine was resupplied, rearmed, prepared for another patrol. The 6th War Patrol. The last War Patrol. August 21, 1944. USS Harder is operating near Luzon, Philippines. She is hunting with another submarine, USS Hake. At dawn, both submarines spot a convoy. Harder moves to attack. At 0700 hours, Hake loses contact with Harder. No radio communication, no periscope sighting, just silence. At 0730, Hake's sonar operator reports a series of explosions, depth charges, 15 of them, and then breaking up noises, the terrible sound of a submarine dying. USS Harder was never seen again. Commander Samuel Dealey was never seen again. 80 men went down with her. No survivors, no bodies, no goodbye. Dealey was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously. The citation reads in part, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life, above and beyond the call of duty, Commander Dealey fought his ship with a combined tenacity, skill, and courage for which he became famous throughout the submarine service." He was 38 years old. For 80 years, the final resting place of USS Harder remained unknown. Lost somewhere in the deep waters off Luzon. A mystery. A ghost. In 2024, the Lost 52 Project, a team dedicated to finding the 52 American submarines lost in World War II, announced a discovery. They had found USS Harder, 331 feet below the surface, intact, upright, at peace. The sonar images show a submarine resting on the ocean floor. The bow is pointed toward the surface, as if even in death, she is ready to attack. The hull is covered in marine growth, but the outline is unmistakable. A Gato-class submarine, USS Harder. The families of the crew finally have closure. 80 men who gave their lives. 80 men who never knew the full impact of what they did. They never knew about the Battle of the Philippine Sea. They never knew that their 5 destroyers helped change the war. They only knew that when a destroyer came for them, they did not run. They fought. Commander Samuel Dealey sank 16 ships in 5 war patrols. He received the Medal of Honor, 4 Navy Crosses, and the eternal respect of every submariner who ever served. But his greatest victory was not measured in tonnage. It was measured in fear. For 4 days in June 1944, 1 submarine made the entire Japanese Navy believe they were surrounded. 1 captain made the enemy flee their own anchorage. 1 crew proved that courage and insanity and a willingness to charge straight at death could change the course of a war.
The down-the-throat tactic was never officially adopted by the Navy. It was considered too dangerous, too aggressive, too crazy. But the submariners knew the truth. Sometimes, the only way out is through. Sometimes, the hunter has to become the hunted. And sometimes, the only way to survive is to do the thing your enemy never expects. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button,
because the men of USS Harder deserve to be remembered. Not as statistics, not as a footnote, but as heroes who did the impossible and paid the ultimate price. Next time on Iron Witness, the tank commander who destroyed 3 tigers with 1 shot, and the shell that should have been impossible.